Brandon Dvorak for $10. I think I've said that right. I might not have. Says, I feel like the word woke is way overused. For example, Hulu Hellraiser was not woke. Little Mermaid was not woke, but stuff like Velma was. So a few things. Hulu's Hellraiser, I would argue, wasn't woke because it was true to the source material. And
I would say it had about 10% wokeness in it, but otherwise it was good. Yeah.
It's in modern day.
For modern times, it wasn't bad. Little Mermaid, I haven't seen, but
Little Mermaid, I would say, is woke because
I was going to say just the idea of it is,
it removes itself so far from the original source material and the original story, and it does it for purely political, social reasons. So that's when I think it falls under woke. Velma was undeniably woke, absolutely. But I think what happens, to call something woke is either at its inception point, if it's a brand new IP, it's doing it for like a social engineering level. So it's trying to manipulate and adjust people's sort of perspective on the world. That's kind of woke. Or it pokes fun at certain bits and pieces and tries to highlight other things. Or just, there's many layers to it. Hellraiser, you can argue for all intents and purposes, has all the layers of something that's woke. Strong female leads, androgynous trans actor in the role of Pinhead, etc. And all those arguments are valid, but it is true to the source material, which was created many fucking years ago, way before we had all this sort of social political stuff going on now, which is where I think you can't say it's woke. Because it's true to the source material and it is literally what it's supposed to be. And it's not for any sort of social engineering levels. It was, the idea of Pinhead being this bizarre androgynous being. I mean, it was for that. It was actually for a horror factor. It was to be like, what the hell is this thing? That's what it was supposed to be for. It was this sort of unidentifiable, intangible being. So, yeah, thoughts on that, guys?
I thought it was fine. I didn't think it was as good as the original. I mean, I didn't mind some of the changes. I guess my biggest gripe would be that just how cheap it felt. Sadly, they didn't get
well, we're talking about woke in general, like Hellraiser.
Yeah, but as far as like the woke parts, Velma. No, like Velma was so woke that it made woke people go, okay, that's enough, right? And I was hoping after I saw Barbie, that's the way women were going to react to Barbie, but they didn't. Sadly. Little Mermaid, on the other hand, yeah, I agree with you, Nate. Just in the idea, the inception of changing the story the way they did is woke in and of itself.
Yeah.
But I also agree with Hellraiser. It was an androgynous character, and if you want to kind of separate it a little bit from the original, that's fine. I mean, as far as like the reboots go of horror films, it did that. Doing that aspect of it, I didn't have a problem with.
Well, the thing is, in the book, Pinhead is full
androgynous, basically.
Like they had literally no idea what it was in the book, and it's spelled out in that way. It's supposed to be. I have no idea what this thing is, right?
To me, it's just you have like it's a Freddy effect, right? Though, because what's his face just kind of created
they embody the character
out of whole cloth.
They make it their own, yeah.
So yeah, but I mean, in this sense, like they didn't try to copy that Pinhead in a sense. So like I didn't have a problem with it. It's like you said, it's closer to the book. It's its own kind of iteration of it. So yeah, I wish they would have just stuck to the story a little closer. I would have rather just seen a more faithful rendition of the book, maybe. Perhaps.
Yeah, it's true. Culture, you want to chime in on this? The word woke overused.
Okay, woke's overused because a lot of people use it interchangeably with other similar or what they believe are similar or the same word, which intersectional would be a word to throw into things. See, Little Mermaid suffered from identitarian politics, which is different. They're all part of the same like bubble of neo-Marxism. But, woke is one thing, intersectional is another, and identitarianism is what primarily Little Mermaid suffered underneath. Velma's all three of those at the same time. It is probably one of the most classically woke, intersectional, identitarian political propagandist cartoons ever made. but you understand those are all in that same framework of neo-Marxism, and that's what this is. It's the soft version before the hard version of cultural revolution. Everything that's happening right now, if you pay attention, with all of this stuff, men can be or girls can be men, and all of that stuff is the same thing that happened before Mao seized power by basically telling women they are equally men and dressing them the same and all kinds of other stuff that was happening back then. So if you do a little bit of research, you'll understand, what that is. But they're all different terms with slightly different meanings that fall into the same category. So there you are.
Yeah. Nick, I don't know if you're back yet now, buddy. I don't think he is.
I think he's still busy.
I can speak for Nick. I haven't seen Hellraiser, and Little Mermaid looks so woke. I wasn't going to see it. And Velma looks stupid.
Chill streaming later.
Later.
That's Nick's thoughts.
Catch me on the chill stream later.